extension connects London with Birmingham, an important new link in Britain's vital network of motorways. It'll be good for Britain and good for business. But our transport needs as we go into the 1990s and into Europe mean it won't be sufficient just to build new roads. Recent government proposals involve the widening of many of our existing motorways to take into account the phenomenal increase in the road traffic that's already beginning to happen. And this means we'll be increasingly reliant in the future on the availability of colossal amounts of construction aggregates: sand, gravel, and most importantly, hard stone. That blast produced another 12,000 tonnes of hard stone. Production of construction aggregates now exceeds 300 million tonnes every year, with a significant amount of that going to the southeast of England. But hard stone doesn't exist there. The nearest deposits are found at quarries like Cliffe Hill, here in Leicestershire. And in order to meet the demands of Britain's construction industry, we need consistent supplies of construction materials. And that means we need a carefully planned investment programme in hard stone production.
Our investment policy is one of investment for growth. The group has achieved over the last 10 years now a compound growth rate of some 20%. Inevitably, there is a responsibility then on each division within the group to play its part in that. And I have to say that if any one of the divisions falls short, then the others have to make it up. So it's quite a severe obligation. Obviously, Cliffe Hill is going to substantially help us with this. It doesn't really matter in what way the growth is achieved, whether it's by acquisition or whether it's by expansion of existing operations, or it can be, as in the case of Cliffe Hill, an investment in a completely new greenfield site, as the new Cliffe Hill Quarry is. Each one of those things, in fact, will achieve growth. Cliffe Hill, at 2 miles from the M1, is actually the nearest quarry to the motorway, and consequently there is a substantial saving, therefore, in the road transportation costs. It was also close to mainline rail, which gave us the possibility to install a private siding directly into the quarry. And of course this has substantial savings for us too in terms of distribution of the aggregates to the London area and the southeast. To be nearest the market with a high quality material is obviously a business opportunity that should not be missed.
Probably the most important aspect of investing in a new quarry is the considerable measures that the company has to take to protect the environment. Now, right from the very start, here at Cliffe Hill, a comprehensive monitoring programme was carried out, monitoring noise, dust and vibration in conjunction with the Leicestershire Mineral Planning Authority. And this helped establish the essential criteria by which this quarry would be operated. A local liaison committee involving many local councillors helped keep people informed of progress and also provided a forum for everybody to express their views. And careful design of the processing plant has ensured the elimination of many potential environmental problems. Controlled blastings, carefully designed to minimise air vibration, and it's only carried out at publicised times. And extraction equipment has been designed to reduce considerably the nuisance from dust. Stockpiles in the open create dust and they're unsightly. At Cliffe Hill there's a new concept in product storage. This cleverly designed covered store houses 8 different grades of dry aggregate ready for blending and dispatch. These different grades are delivered into the correct storage bin by a tripper bogie on a continuous conveyor. When material's called for dispatch, another conveyor beneath the bins takes the required blend to the relevant loadout point. Hard stone aggregate is also an essential ingredient in the production of the coated material used in road surfacing. Included in the overall design concept here at Cliffe Hill are 2 self-contained, computer-controlled blacktop coating plants. Most quarries are considered as eyesores, a blot on the landscape. But Cliffe Hill is different. From the start, they had to design a new landscape and then create it.
The basic idea behind what we've done here is that we've used the overburden we knew we'd have to move off the rock to wrap the quarry in a new landform that would fit it with the surroundings, whilst also hiding the main operations from views from outside. To this end, we looked at the surrounding landscape and decided the best thing to do would be to build a landform with shallow gradients on the lower slopes, which we could put back to farmland, and on the steeper slopes we'd plant trees which would link into a series of wooded hills. This is very characteristic of the South Charnwood area. Once we'd got the main landform here, we could then build the landscape. What we've done is we've chosen a new field pattern which includes more hedgerows, hedgerow trees and copses, and then we've included the woodland, we've built new ponds and designed new footpaths. Within this area we've chosen to use natural trees and shrubs, and the woodland areas have been seeded with clover and fine grasses to help the establishment of the trees, and also to allow the native woodland plants to come in under the trees as they mature. We will look after all this for a long time to come. The agricultural land needs looking after for at least 5 years. This gives us a chance for the soil structure to improve and to help the drainage of the land. And on the hedgerows and trees, we'll make sure they all grow. We've got to thin them out when they get bigger. And this is a process that will take at least 10 years to come.
All the very latest machinery, the actual method of crushing stone hasn't changed since the beginning of the century. It's what's going to happen to it after crushing that will guarantee Tarmac's success in supplying stone on demand. Quality hard stone aggregates for the customers in the construction industry. Just take a look at some of this. And it's this latest technology based on microprocessors that takes care of all the crushing, the screening, the blending and the routing of the stone. 1,100 tonnes of graded aggregate per hour. And as well as the various grades for the construction industry, another very important product from this plant is rail track ballast.
Rail ballast is a particularly important commodity at Cliffe Hill and indeed nationally. British Rail require a particular quality of stone which can only be met from a limited number of locations in the United Kingdom, of which Cliffe Hill is one. It has a size requirement of its own, and so throughout the plant there is opportunity for the make of rail ballast to be separately stored for retrieval later.
And the amazing thing about this quarry is that the one man who directs it all never even sees the stone being processed. Today's quarryman runs the whole show from here.
The primary crusher receives rock from the quarry face. After crushing, the stone is taken by conveyor over a scalping screen which separates out the small material, and the flow then goes forward into a primary stockpile. Stone moves through the secondary crusher, and then it passes through a whole series of further crushers and selector bins, 8 sizes overall, which are those used in the roadstone industry. The stone is taken into the main storage bins, and from there it can either go to lorry loading to the first of the 2 coating plants, or transferred by conveyor to the main covered store. There are dispatch routes to lorry outlet, or for train loading, or a feed of stone blend into the second of the 2 coating plants on the site. Cliffe Hill differs from other quarries in that here we've had an exciting opportunity to develop from a green field a total concept of quarrying as part of an overall business venture.
It's quite an investment, even for Tarmac. A project on this scale is quite a tribute to the combined expertise of the company's geologists, planners, design engineers and landscape architects. And of course, it'll need to produce a healthy return.
Our main markets are within the East Midlands area of the East Midlands Company for supplies to our sister companies in Western and in Southern, particularly the Southern Company, because the qualities of Cliffe Hill granite make it particularly suitable for supplying needs which the southeast quarries cannot provide themselves. Supplies to major motorway contracts, particularly the M40, the A1-M1 link, the A42. So in that respect, we have got the timing right. These motorways will also extend the potential market area for Cliffe Hill Quarry. So we shall extend our normal area to include a wider region. What we have done in the design of the plant is to bear in mind the need to satisfy the customer's requirements. What we haven't done is started off with an engineering design and then, so to speak, sought to plug the customers into that. We have endeavoured to have a comprehensive design which has integrity so that the whole operation can be sales driven.
This is a smart card. Inside it is a self-contained mini computer, and drivers use it just like you'd use your average cash card, except that when you pop this in the reader, you don't get cash, you get crushed stone. It records all the details of the driver, the customer, and also the mixture blend required. A printed loading instruction directs the driver to one of a number of loading points. As his order's being processed, the correct blend and quantity of stone or coated material is being summoned by a series of microprocessors and conveyed to the correct loadout point. When the driver's ready to leave, his smart card is updated and he receives a computerized conveyance note. For the customer, invoicing is automatic. Here at Cliffe Hill, there are tens of millions of tons of quarryable reserves. And with the increasing demand for hard stone, we simply can't afford to leave them in the ground.
If our society is to achieve all of its aspirations with regard to new buildings, whether these be in the form of new motorways like the M40, or new factories, hospitals, homes and schools, then we must continue to invest with confidence. And I believe we've exhibited that perfectly in the investment at New Cliffe Hill. We've produced here a quarry which is a breakthrough in terms of technical excellence. It has established new standards in environmental controls and also, I believe, in terms of its acceptability within the environment.